Okay, so this is my video on how to solve the Rubik's Cube, and this is it right here. It's a 3x3x3, the original Rubik's Cube. And I'm going to try to cover everything in these videos, and it's going to be a 5-part tutorial with these separate videos covering a certain aspect of the Rubik's Cube. So instead of just cramming all the information into 2 videos, each 10 minutes long, where it being really confusing and stuff like that, I'm going to do 5 videos, each with a certain step towards solving the Rubik's Cube. And if you're a beginner, this is great. I'll cover everything for you, and if you know how to solve, like, say, 2 layers of the Rubik's Cube, or if you do know how to solve it but you just want to pick up some tips, that's also great too. Okay, so there's some things you need to know about the Rubik's Cube first of all. On the Rubik's Cube, there are center pieces, which are these pieces right here, and they don't change their relative positions. You really need to know that. It's really important. So, for instance, you have, the way I solve it is yellow on top, white on bottom, and then obviously the red, green, orange, and blue in the middle. So what you need to know is that yellow will always be opposite white, green will always be opposite blue, and red will always be opposite orange. Or at least on my cube it is. It depends on what your color scheme is. And no matter what you do, there is nothing you can do that will change this. You can't move the centers. The color scheme will always, it'll always stay that way. And now I'm going to go over some basic notation. So, in order to solve the Rubik's Cube, there's going to be things called algorithms, and these are going to be basically a set of letters which pretty much tell you how to solve the Rubik's Cube, or solve a certain step of the Rubik's Cube anyway. So for instance, the algorithm might say R, which means right. So you're going to look at the right side of your cube right here. So we're going to move to the right side, and we're going to make 1 clockwise spin. That's an R. If it says R with a prime after it, so R prime or R inverted, so again we're going to look at the right side, and instead of going clockwise, we're going to go counterclockwise, so just like that. Okay, so another one might be F, so F looks like this. We're looking at the front of the cube and going clockwise. F prime, or F inverted, looks like this, going counterclockwise. There's also U, so we're going to look at the upside clockwise, and U prime counterclockwise. So, and that's basic notation. If anything else shows up, I'll go over it in the video. Okay, so this is the Rubik's Cube scrambled, and what the first step is the cross, and this looks something like this, where you have 1, so pick a color. I always do white. You're gonna go for the T, or the cross, and then also look how the blue lines up right there, the red lines up right there, the green lines up right there, and the orange lines up right there. It has to be like that, otherwise everything else will be wrong when you're trying to solve it. So we're looking for the white cross with these matched up right here. Okay, so we're going to go back to the scrambled cube, and what we're going to be doing is moving the edges, which are these pieces right here. These are the corner pieces, by the way, so you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 corner pieces on the cube, and you have a bunch of edges. So these are the edges, these are the corner pieces, just for future reference. So we're going to solve the cross. There's no algorithms for the steps, and it's the easiest step. You're just moving 4 corner pieces into the correct spots. So we're going to look at the cube. So I see the white-blue edge right here. And what we can do with this edge right here is we want to line it up so it looks like this. So that's easy. All you have to do is move it like that. And then 2 up layer moves, and you line it up with the blue right there. So that works out relatively easy. So next we have this green piece right here, and all we have to do is move it up into the upper layer like that. So that's relatively easy. Here's another one right here. It's the red white, and it needs to go right here. So what we want to do is we want to go like this to move it in. We want to go like that. But because we moved this white piece down there in order to get that red one right there, we got to move that back. So that lines it up. And the last one is right here. It's in an incorrect flip. So what we need to do is just move it right like that. Move this right there so that we can just slide it right back in and then move it across. And that's what the cross looks like. And I'm going to go over some different cases now that can occur when you're trying to solve the cross. Okay, so there's what we call good edges and bad edges when you're trying to solve the cross. This is a good edge because all it takes is one move to move it into the cross position. So it's just right here, and you just move it like that. Whereas this one right here, it's also in a good position. It's just a double layer move to move it. So just like that. Now a bad edge would look something like this, where it takes two moves, and it's also kind of weird to move it in. So what you have to do is you have to move this front layer like that in order to make it a good edge. Move that right in there, but then you also have to fix this in order to you have to fix that in order to bring it into its correct position. So that's good edges and bad edges. And also on that original one, I also went over incorrectly flipped ones, where it looks something like this. It's in the right spot, just it's incorrectly flipped. So you have to go, just bring it down, move this top layer so that it's ready to receive it, and then move it in, and then just adjust your cross so that these middle pieces are aligned. And if you have any questions about the cross, please feel free, just post any comments. If I missed anything, you know, I'll be happy to answer any questions you have.